the scene, it's your host TTP. We're flying high in the crypto sky, you and me. From Bitcoin rush to Ethereum, we traded all the coins with the trading parity, making that joyful noise. We got bots, we got plots, charts on the big screen. 3 comments to Wick, Hunter with a trading machine. Laughing all the way to the bank, it's a fun parade. With every trade we made, watch how we get paid. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game, with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light, trying to trading peril. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts, the RSI, liquidity at a glance, trends on the rise. We never leave it up to chance. All trading Ganium, tools of the champion breed. With AI and math, we're planting the money seed. Laugh with us, trade with us, ain't no looking back. You're with the parrot now, leading the pack. Alpha profits, snap plus with the crypto law. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light. Join the trading peril. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts.
Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. It's 11 a.m. in UK time. We are on a Monday morning and trend might be about to flip. We are seeing the weekly trend on Bitcoin, on general markets, pushing that neckline to get on the top of the range, the bullish side. And as a consequence of that, it's no surprise that we are seeing the altcoins pumping. We've seen big moves in here on the weekly, on the monthly, and in today's video we're going to look at what's the current state of art with all the altcoins. And of course my Patreon members are the spoiled ones. I already asked them last night which coins they want me to do, but as soon as we get on with all these altcoins, we do the technical analysis. We're going to look at liquidation levels, maybe some news, and see what I feel, what I see in each of one of them. But once we get done with those, make sure that you write down in the comments the altcoins that you want me to review. And if you are ready to go, let's go with it. So let's see what we got in the list. I'm going to start with Ethereum and Solana, SUI. Of course, we need to go into all of that. As a way of getting some context, guys, do not miss the video of altcoin season or fake out that I published 24 hours ago. That's going to give a big perspective when it comes to the altcoins. The second half of the video focuses on that area. I'm just going to give you a very quick update, just 2 sentences basically. On others, we are seeing here a breakout. And when we had a breakout very similar to this, which was on 30th of September in 2024, you can see that we spent more than a month just going sideways. So do not necessarily see that as, well, breakout is just going to fail, because after getting outside the falling wedge, it's very likely that we go for the fair value gap in here at 221 billion, and we start goofing around before really we should back up with an impulsive move. Second hint, pro tip, let's not necessarily expect that this push is going to be necessarily higher high. So when we are getting into the middle of the range with others, also let's be careful at that area in there. So those 2 things are explained in detail in that video. You can go ahead and watch that, but don't leave the stream because we're going to do TA now live. So first coin is going to be Ethereum. Let's go into Ethereum. By the way, how is the sound? Everything is okay? The quality of the stream, let me know. I can read you there in the comments. We got at the moment, how many people do we have live? We have 100 people. So that means that not everybody has left the crypto market on a Monday morning. Let's see, this is the weekly time frame. we got one of the setups that I'm looking at with Ethereum. These are double bottoms on the weekly time frame that tend to be very intense. For example, the last one printed a low on September, and then we got a higher low. And what I'm looking for in this area in here, if I'm very honest, is a rejection in here and potentially a higher low at around 34, 33 on the RSI weekly for Ethereum. At the moment, we already put a higher high, very similar to the breakout that we have into October 2024. You see in here, we have 46. That's a higher high. That's the first time that we break the structure. That's the time where we see the breakout. We already have a breakout. We already have that higher high. Now let's put a higher low that settles the move to the upside. Because why? Because we could put a lower low in here and then we break the whole setup. So that's why we need to be aiming now to hold that line so we can have a rally into this resistance in here that is at around 54 on the RSI. In this area in here, I have my targets. I'm looking into 3.1k. That is the initial push of this move. Why is that? It's because of the length of this handle of the flag that is a very overextended to the downside flag. I'm not claiming that it hasn't been painful for Ethereum. So first we need to get above 3k. I'm not going to aim for 4k in one go. First I want to get to 3k and I want to confirm that that move into 3k is not just a dead cat bounce. It's same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin can also produce a dead cat bounce, but in this case on Ethereum, getting there will definitely wreck everybody. So at 3k, we put a reminder, we look at the technicals and see if we can go beyond that. At the moment, we are still in this area of accumulation, similar to August into September, October. It's resembling that, but at the moment we're going into the highs of 1.8k very quickly. Whereas in September, we managed to get to 17. We got another rejection. We form a bottom information at around around October, we could say. And after that, we went into the races all the way to 4K. So that area of accumulation has the potential to get us out of here. Sure, absolutely. But we need to break that 1845 resistance that was resistance before too. After that, we have resistance at 2.1 because that was the support in September. And if we can get beyond that, we can get into the 331, which is that target that we are talking about. Let's look at the RSI. We already covered that. We talk about this area of longs versus shorts being an area of value for accumulation. If things play out in that way with the RSI, with the price action, we're going to look back at this area. We're going to say, whoa, that was an area of value. Why was I not looking for accumulation at that area? Particularly myself, I don't need to accumulate Ethereum. I have enough with my red bag of Ethereum. I need to look for an exit, not to add more to this, terrible investment during this cycle that has been Ethereum. I want to look into liquidation levels. I want to see how things are progressing towards that target of 3.1k. I'm going to use the swing one on trading different. That's going to give me a longer term accumulation of liquidation pools. And let's remove all these lines, remove drawings, and let's start from scratch. So with this move up, what are we leaving behind? We are leaving behind just 1300 and 1300 we could say. Is there anything below that? Not really. And I also can see that as we were going down, liquidation levels to the downside have become smaller and smaller, right? So we get big red, huge red, then yellow, then green, one last yellow, and there is just yellow there, but it's very thin. And that is basically showing us a good opportunity to upside. because 1300 is our risk right now. If we fail with this move up, we go to 1300. But currently, what's the motivation to go there? Is the smallest it's been in all this way down, I will say. You can tell there if you take a screenshot. And to the upside, do we have big levels? I suspect that we have those big levels and they're all above 4K. You can see them in here. 4.1 is a great area now to think of offloading if we manage to get there. And I'm sure that many whales are, you know, mouth watering at the moment just thinking of those levels. I gave those levels also to some big whales that were asking me, and I told them, yeah, 4.2, 4.5 is where you probably want to offload a little bit big portion. And I'm guessing that they're going to do it. So you better take note as well. Let's go into Solana, USD. And we got a breakout. Wow, fantastic. I didn't see this one coming. Well, I saw that we were going to get into resistance. I was moaning that we were so low here at 42, still very far from the resistance. We have done great progress in here, creating a double bottom, reclaiming 46 that was support before, breaking out from the white line. But one thing to note is that by Sunday, this Sunday, let's say today is 28, so this candle is in progress. So this week we need to break beyond 48. It's a work in progress, it's looking good, but this week also has the potential to turn into a rejection, right? Because the candle is moving. If the price goes below, let's say we get a rejection at 150 and we go and we close the week at 120. Let's imagine hypothetically, how is that going to look on the RSI? Well, another rejection from the weekly resistance. If we close beyond 150, there we go, we get a breakout on Solana and we get upside. Since Solana has lost levels one by one in a horrible way, we need to be careful with the targets. So first target if we reclaim 48, first target is around 56. And then we get to look higher into 85, but don't look 85 yet. First, we need to go into 56. We need to reclaim this 57. That is going to be strong resistance, I will assume, because after the double top, we were layer by layer losing. We lost 1, 2, 3 layers down. So that's how deep we are in the crap, I'm going to say, with Solana. Relative to other coins, has done really bad, really bad. But that also brings in some big upside if there is a recovery, right? So I think Solana is a great network. It's just that with all the bullets that it took from the Trump coin dumping and all of that, with less meme coin activity, less activity has been really bad for the network, but it's gonna come back. I'm sure that the speculators are just waiting for another chance to get back in, and this might be it. Or if we get a rejection there, we could have to wait for the breakout from this area. If we see a rejection there, hopefully we get that higher low, and then we do it from there. If we do it from there, it's even better. If you have the patience and you get lucky that we get another rejection, that entry there, I like it even more than a breakout this week from here. All right, targets 58. Let's call that is the first target, and let's bring my new version of reverse RSI. 58. Let's put it like this. That at the moment is around $200. So either we go straight from 150 into $200, or we get ideally this lower, a higher low at 130, 128, and from there we go higher. Remember that if we go lower with the price, the target is going to go higher. So instead of the target being $200, if we get that move down, we could push the target into 230. It's a moving target, and it's really a great tool to have the reverse RSI. You can go and find it for free, the reverse RSI, or you can get it from my Patreon shop. At the moment, in terms of the socials, it's extremely low for Ethereum. Sorry, for Solana. We are at 670, touching the lower band. And this particular indicator is from Lunar Crash and is analyzing all the activity on Twitter, YouTube, social network, really. And it's giving us a social dominance of 6%. Solana takes a big chunk of the social dominance most of the time. It can reach 16% of everything that is being said about crypto is about Solana at some point. At that point, you sell. At this point, you look for entries. It's very low, not as low as in October, but still pinching the lower band of the Bollinger Band. And yes, here we are. We are breaking out with very low social activity. That's pretty cool. Let's go to the next one. And I'm going to go on the weekend. I did SUI already. So I think for SUI, I'm just going to give a very quick update. Go and watch the video from 2 days ago. That's 15 minutes just on SUI. Liquidation levels on Solana. That's very important. I don't want to miss that. I want to see where are we targeting if it's actually juicy at that point. We were saying $200. At $210, we have a liquidation there. And let's bring in the 3x as well. How is it changing? It's bringing a lot more on the top end. We don't have that red that we get on Ethereum. I don't know why. Let's remove this red from there so we can normalize that and see a bit more red. And the 3x is not really helping that much on Solana. We do have decent liquidations at 165 at the moment, but those are shorts that just enter on the 25th of April. They're all shorting at this area. I suspect together with Bitcoin, they want to get probably into 120, where we have another liquidation level that could do the job as a higher low. So if we get lucky, let's not assume that we can get there, but if we get lucky, if you haven't entered on Solana, that could be a great point to defend, because if you enter at that point and this continues dragging, you can DCA these two levels. As a way to mitigate the risk. Of course, you need to be have some good knowledge on doing this. Don't do it if it's your first time without any experience. But that could be a great play to wait for 120, get that liquidation, higher low. If you're too itchy and you enter here, just accept that there might be some downside from these shorts. There can be also the case if Bitcoin goes into 100K. Remember, I have some small likelihood that we go into 100K still from where we are in here straight away. Although all indicators are saying some cool down on Bitcoin, I'm looking for that pullback, but I never say never, right? So we got 90% of a pullback, sure. That 10%, what do we do if it goes higher? Well, it can get in here and hit all these shorts up until 170, I will say. Let's go with the next coin, and I think I'm gonna do SUI. Some people were saying that they really like the video, but they want an update. How are we doing with SUI? Remember that with SUI, I have this vision that is doing the fractal of these two hills that look very similar from many perspectives, various divergences, the length to the downside, everything match almost by the book, including the longs, the shorts, the ratios, the socials, absolutely everything. And at the moment, what we are doing in here is something really crazy. We reclaim the $3.4, and that $4 that I call on Saturday's video, I said if we can reclaim that $4 is very huge what we can see after coming out from that. That level is strong resistance, and I pair the $4 of SUI with the 95K of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin can now conquer 95 and turn it into support without seeing a rejection back down, then SUI can definitely break the $4. And On the RSI as well, I was only expecting a conservative rally into resistance at 52, but you see that on Sunday we closed at 57, and that it's again very bullish. So whenever now we see on SUI a pullback, I will say it should be with a higher low. Again, things are flipping. Let's go with the next coin. Which one should I do? Which one should I do? Let's do AVAX, Avalanche. What is this? What is that? AVAX USDT. All right. Great. So great development here on Avalanche. You have this resistance that is extremely strong at $20. It was psychological level support in August. And you can see how we failed to close above $20 on Avalanche. But now we are doing it. We are doing it thanks to this double bottom formation that I really wanted to see, holding that $15 at the bottom. We have a weekly candle breaking that, and now we are in continuation towards $24. The target of the initial double bottom is $25. But if we complete the rally into 24, we get a double bottom that is larger. Can you see it? So the first double bottom is very shallow, up until $20. The second double bottom is up until $24. And the full high of that second double bottom, placing it from the neck, brings us back into $34. At that point, we're going to get new resistance from these wicks right there. That is the 32 level of resistance, support in here. So very important level. If we can manage now to break that 24, then let's start talking about 32. Let's look at my long-term targets. So these are targets reserved for an altcoin season playing out. If we can get that altcoin season, if we get money printing, of course, we need more liquidity coming into the system, and less uncertainty, definitely in the general markets. Then we're talking about $78, but that's hopium for now. Okay, we don't have the conditions for that. We are looking for a little bit more conservative targets for swing trades. And once we get to $35 with Avalanche, we are just playing catch up with Bitcoin getting to 95K. So my 95K on Bitcoin is this neckline. Avalanche has been doing really bad. It took the lows in here. It couldn't put a high relative to March 2024. So that is how bad it is. So let's keep it real in here. First, $25, baby steps, then 32, and then we get into the 35. That's equivalent to 95K. Bitcoin holding and going beyond 95K opens the door for us to say, fine, beyond 35 is also doable. Bitcoin rejecting 95, and then we're going to see Avalanche doing a bit more of the disaster it's been doing. I really like Avalanche. I'm a holder as well. Not a big bag, but I do have a decent amount of Avalanche. This double bottom on the RSI is also calling for a rally into 57 weekly RSI. That's again just revenge, and I'm suspecting that that's going to be around 30 something. Let's put that. I think I say, sorry. Let's do it 57. 57 in here. That is precisely 32. It's not 35, it's 32. So RSI, revenge rally, gets us there. 95K on Bitcoin and beyond, then we start moving things higher. For now, let's just keep it conservative. Socials on the low end, that is healthy. No one looking at Avalanche now. So if you're looking at Avalanche, you are the little number of people doing that. Breakout of longs versus shorts. And my last highlight of area of value was 34 of the ratio longs and shorts. Now we are breaking out. Hopefully, in a trajectory to the top end of longs versus shorts. Cool. Next coin. Let's see what else people were asking for. I think I haven't done Tau in a long time and XRP either. So let's go with XRP and then Tau. XRP. Right. Whoa. So from the point of view of RSI, XRP hasn't caught up really much. So Solana, you can see that it's already playing the game of breaking out on the weekly RSI. XRP is still here, forming a double bottom. So that can mean two things, right? That we are early with XRP for doing a rally. I wonder what it's driving really with XRP. Uh, this move so cautious. I want to see if there are any news on XRP. In the meantime, let's see liquidation levels of XRP swing. Where is XRP? My God, I'm so blind. There you go. There's just 5 coins on the screen and I cannot see them. That's what happens when you start getting old. Let's put it on 3x. We got risk at 1.5. Fair enough. It's always important to start with the risk, guys. If you think just about the reward, you're not a trader, you're just gambling. You always need to think, where is my risk? Oh, here, 1.5. Fine. So if I enter here, what is my risk? Well, measure the distance to your risk. Your risk is 33%. Easy. So how you handle it? Oh, DCA in here, or a stop loss somewhere in there, and do not put the stop loss where the liquidity pools are. Don't contribute to the motivation for price to go to certain place where you put your risk. That doesn't make any sense. So I like that we are forming this pattern in here, like a V recovery. Am I on XRP? Yeah, I'm on XRP. And I like that there is this liquidation levels up until 2.8. Then we have a slightly larger at 3.4. We have 3.1, $3. All those levels, I guess we can reach those levels. I think. Let's see some patterns. If we connected with that top, then we still haven't gone that far. That is located at 2.4. So at 2.4, people are going to start screaming that we get a breakout on XRP. And at that point, our risk is going to be 40% down. And you see, for example, in here, we pinch it, and in a few days after, 36% down. So watch out with XRP, because this crazy horse kicks and kicks strong. It has done that all history. Let's look at the XRP chart. What else do I have? The socials are very low. That is healthy. Longs versus shorts still hasn't gone into my area of value. Solana, Avalanche, Ethereum, they all have, but XRP hasn't. So there might be still an in progress formation of a bottom in here. I would love to see a higher low and then the breakout from 56. And as I said in the previous video, ideally not a line straight into the resistance, because that tends to get sold off immediately. I don't want that. I want this scenario. A higher low, breakout there, that gives a lot better reward, and then we can target 71. So that resistance at 56 and then the 71, where is that in the price? 71, that is at around $38. And the 57, I think I already have that 57. Let's put it here. Their resistance is at $25, $246 to be more precise. And on the price action, I really like this thing that is going on in here. So we reclaim the $2. That is beautiful. We pinch as low as 1.6, meeting up with this level in here in April 2021. So that is a successful retest, weekly reclaim of $2. Now we are going for the 2.4. My $2.4 is my 95K in Bitcoin. Okay. It's important that you identify where is the neckline on the coins, because if there is rack pool of 95, well, there's going to be rack pool of all the stupid levels on each of these coins, right? They're not going to be able to reclaim 2.4 by magic, right? They need Bitcoin and general markets to do the same. General markets, in the video in the morning, I show you where is the neckline for S&P and for NASDAQ. And altcoins don't live in a bubble. They well, even though we have crypto bubbles, but believe me, they need general markets to define the direction and confirm it. So that is your line in the sand, that 2.4. And XRP, I already look at the liquidations. We talk about 3.4. The 1.5 is the risk. And we got a question. What is your opinion on Monday? Bullish or bearish? Well, I was looking at the general markets, and let's see how we're doing with general markets in here. I really like that the VIX has retraced 3 consecutive weeks. That kind of shows some settling in there. I'm still thinking that in 2025 there's going to be another kick, even though I was looking for this kick into 60s, and into the top of the range in here. Something tells me that we are still going to get another kick. There's just the past performance on the day where you get a new administration in the US. Typically, you get first a sell-off, Trump administration that happened last time, and then you start rallying, but you need the money printing to kick off. And now you have this arm wrestling um, between the government administration, whether they do the printing or not. Jerome Powell, they don't like each other. Well, anyways, whenever I say these things, people say don't get into politics or whatever, but I have my opinion, and this is my channel, so I do whatever I want. Nasdaq, you see, that's the neckline. S&P neckline, that's a neckline. So let's identify on the rest of the altcoins what's going on as well. Let's go for the next coin, and I think it was going to be Tau, right? Let's go with Tau. So in terms of bullishness for the market, I think we just need to see something giving direction to general markets. The general markets are right there at the neckline, and not kind of tipping the toe into the cold water and say, are we going to go bullish or not? And Bitcoin always taking the lead, doing the things first. But then if it's the wrong direction, it's the first one to retrace as well. It takes the bigger risk. Sometimes it gets it right, and then people say, well, Bitcoin knows everything before because traders of Bitcoin are more clever. I don't think that's the case. There's more speculators as well. So we are on Tau, and Tau neckline is at 435. And at the moment, it's just rallying to catch up with Bitcoin. Let's hide that there. The next level is 433, followed by 583. And we got that breakout. That breakout has been there since the 7th of April. We probably already mentioned it in a video. It's been going probably into the middle. Yeah, precisely the middle, 50. And do we have room to go higher? I think so, as long as Bitcoin also goes higher. But there's something that I want to bring to your attention on Tau, and this is worrying on the weekly. We broke down with the longs pulling back, and now we are very overextended with longs on Tau. So watch out for that resistance. Historically, number of longs get just to 70, as you can see here. There's not a long history just from August 2024, but we have never gone beyond that. So I don't know if you want to be entering on a long and being that stubborn that you want to break that, and you take for granted that we're going to break that. I wouldn't. So what I will do is this indicator is included in the Patreon shop as well, part of the Pine scripts. I'm gonna drop it into the daily and see what's going on the daily here. Yeah, we kind of went to 78 and it's cooling down into 60. So that could be a higher low and maybe we continue higher. But I wouldn't be looking for longs at this extreme. If, in other words, if you didn't enter with Tau when we were talking about accumulation at 165 being the lowest level, or below 238, at this point, I will just look for a pullback. And let's talk about a pullback. Where could be a pullback in here? Ideally, we hold 352, but that's not necessarily going to clear out all those excessive longs. Tau should go into 245 to give a better risk to reward. If you buy in here at 352, sure, you can do it on a retest, but then save some cash if we go to 246 to get that higher low as well. Let's see if we can get some liquidation levels for Tau. I'm going to use search because I don't see anything. And oh, I forgot about the news on XRP. I'll go back into that in a second. And Tau liquidation levels of the past 3 months. What do we have? And we're going to have to use CoinGlass. They haven't listed that on Trading Different. So we got the 330 into 340. At the moment, are big liquidation levels of the past 30 days. 320 to 68. Nothing really clear, to be honest. Let's see the past 2 weeks. Maybe something shows more clear. So 320, sure, and 266. That 266, where is it in here? 266 is more or less around here. So this area represents better risk to reward, in my opinion. But of course, it's not for granted that we are going there. And if we don't go there, what do I do? Well, I don't trade Tau. I only trade things that are great opportunities. And that's the whole point. If you're watching this video, you're looking for great opportunities. If the opportunities don't show up and they don't happen, they don't play out, well, there has to be something else. There's no way you're going to convince me to buy this level with all those longs being so high. That is not an opportunity. That's just gambling. All right. So just going to do ONDO, and then I'm going to take requests from the chat. ONDO USDT. Oops. There's a typo. There you go. And let's look at the news on XRP because I forgot. I really want to know why XRP hasn't been moving as fast as Solana, because I thought Solana was the one that was underperforming, but now XRP is kind of lagging behind in this rally into the neckline of the weekly that many coins already got there. Why XRP is still goofing around at the low end? We got ProShares to launch 3 XRP futures ETFs. That's not a bad news. CME Group to introduce XRP futures on May 19. That's good. Ripple acquires prime brokerage firm Hidden Road to 125 billion. Ripple confirms it will not go public in 2025. Is this something bearish? I guess. And well, it depends why, but I don't get much information about that. XRP leads major crypto gains. I don't think it leads. It's just catching up, but slower than the rest for some reason. So I sniff something burnt there, unless this week XRP catches up quickly. I will continue to say that it is resilient, it is bouncing, it is following Bitcoin, but slower than the rest for some reason. And okay, requests. Live breakout. Do we have a breakout? Yeah, 95 100. Oh, pretty cool. Let's see where is the resistance. So yeah, this is This is looking like it wants to break out, but we are getting breakout on the price first, and on the RSI 4 hour we are still against resistance, which is 63. And I guess if we break out from here, this pinch of 52 was just a liquidity hand, and it looks like a liquidity hand even in the candle, right? So you get all this candle, hanging man, I think it's called, and then you get two green candles into 95. So we're going to have to see what do we do with the short-term liquidity. That liquidity that in the morning I told you is very likely that we take the 97. If we pump beyond the 98 and we are still here on our way to 100, I just don't want to be in my short anymore beyond 99. And 99, we can get in here a short squeeze, because this area in red, the 100, is, let me show you where it is where we start becoming in the longer term yellow, and that can bring us into red and into 125. Why would I want to be in a short at that point? My thesis is that we can do a liquidity hand in 97, and that's it, and then we go for the CME gap on the lower end. Happy to be wrong. I mean, I'm thinking about it, and I'm not gonna DCA to the upside. I'm just gonna take the loss at 99, and that's it. Bye bye. You know, it's a low volume, so I don't even care. But if that happens, it hasn't happened yet. It could be that I'm right and we go to the CME gap, or all the other way around. We go to 99 and pinch just 100, very low likely, but it can still happen. It will really piss me off if we go just and pinch 100 and then we go for the CME gap. So I get stop out and then I cannot cash at CME gap. But we have to handle the risk, because if we go to there, there's a high likelihood of a short squeeze to way higher. So I play by the rules. If things, end up doing something that happens 1%, well, I take a loss. That's fine. I haven't taken a loss in a long time, so I even forgot how it feels, because I've been DCAing to the downside every long, and every long I take profit, so I haven't taken any loss. On shorts, I'm happy to take a loss. I don't like DCAing to the upside. All right, next coin. Let's take from the list. It's weird because Tau has negative funding rates on MEXC. Shouldn't they be positive? Yeah, it is weird. It is weird with Tau. Let's see. This was Tau. Yeah, there were no liquidations in here at the top, so there's not many shorts. It's contradictory with the negative funding rates, but sometimes it happens. Different platforms saying different things. Let's see the live comments. If I can we have a look at POPCAT? Okay, let's do some meme coins just for the laugh. POPCAT, and let's do it on Bybit Spot. Okay, so yeah, very quickly, that's our neck. That is the breakout. So with Bitcoin going into 95, POPCAT is wanting to follow up. That level is 0.42 on this meme coin. And on the RSI, we got a rolling over there. We got equal lows on the RSI at 38. What else do we have? That's a level of resistance there. Longs are at 61. The lows were at 21, so we have had already a decent rally in there with no major pullbacks. So it's the same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has also rallied from 74 into 95 with no major pullback, and that's what's currently calling for people to short. What I'm not liking of being in the short is that I'm starting to see too many people saying I'm in a short, I'm in a short. And when I'm in a short and I see everybody in a short, I tend to get like, ugh, why they figure it too, because too overcrowded trades don't play out. I like when I take a trade and I get insults. People tell me you're stupid for taking a short. I'm in a long. That is the one that I make profits. I don't make profits from people repeating what I do. Um, okay, POPCAT is there. Next levels are 87 if we can reclaim the 42. Then we got another strong support at 133. And that's pretty much all I can say about this meme coin. Those are the levels. We don't have much history. I don't have Lunar Crash. I don't have liquidation levels. Let's see if we get liquidation levels on CoinGlass. Oh, wow, it's listed. And in here as well. We got a huge level at 32. And yeah, this one in there, 32. And then we have 22. 32 and 22 is the risk for POPCAT at the moment. And that is halfway through towards the bottom end. So if this was a rejection, let's say during the week we go up, but then we get sold off below 41, 42. Let's be precise. It's actually 40, just 40. That's the resistance, to be very precise. And let's say we close below 40, then that 20 something and the 30 something are better entries because we are already seeing the reversal. If Bitcoin doesn't get an ugly rejection from 95, those levels are please buy me. Where we are right here, not necessarily because risk is elevated. Yeah, sorry, I skip ONDO. I'm gonna do ONDO. Thanks God I have my team there, so they're telling me when I made a mess up. ONDO. All right. In Spanish, that sounds a little bit funny, to be honest. We got here, if we connect these lines, we have that support, that trend line of support that I'm just seeing. We have the support at 72. There's confluence of those two lines. There's a double bottom, 10 of March, 7 of April, and the initial target of that double bottom formation. Let's do it conservative. It gets us into the next resistance of $1 psychological level. I had this target in here, which I suspect now is invalid because probably I was looking into the RSI into 52. Now we can get into 54, 53 as part of our revenge rally. So let's remove that and let's update the target into that point, 54. And let's bring in the reverse, 54. That is gone. And switch on. There you go. Right there, meeting precisely with the volume weighted moving average, 116. That is beyond the resistance of 112, just a little bit higher. Remember that, well, you can pinch that level and then close below it, and you still hit the target. The target is 117 at the moment, but as we go up, if we take too long, so let's say the price does this line can also meet there. So it's a moving target. And I see it because I see it all the time. But if you're new to this type of trading, bear in mind that they're moving. So that's target for ONDO initial. If we can get beyond 112, then we have 137. And my 95K of Bitcoin neckline, it's 111 in this coin. So we are just catching up, doing the same. Levels to buy, if we see rejections in here, I like the 89. And let's go to some liquidation levels. And let's see these two. And we got 93. So 89 is slightly too far away. So that 93 is an initial great liquidation level. Then we have the 83. So 83 and 93 are decent liquidation levels. You can see it also at 81 in this different visualization. Let's see if we get some news on ONDO. I love these summaries with ChatGPT. They're very concise and straight to the point. Um, I'm gonna just leave it for a second there. Do I have ONDO here? It will be nice. Nope. Okay, ONDO Finance reaches 3 billion market cap after SEC meeting. So that's bullish. And this was on the 24th, so 4 days ago. Token breaks one resistance thanks to regulatory discussions. Trading volume spikes. ONDO Finance surpasses 1 billion in total value lock. That's also bullish. Remember, the more value lock in a network, the better. Increase of 10%. So yeah, there's a bunch of bullish things going on with ONDO that's driving the catch up. But still, it should be getting closer to one by now. It's not going as fast as other coins for some reason. Um, any other coin? Let's do Render. And I can only see the chats, the recent chats. I cannot scroll because that's in another computer. So keep just typing your coin until I see it. Render. Render USDT. Well, that's your neckline, is 4.5. We got the double bottom, but for some reason, Render is not catching up as fast. So let me think. Is this the neckline of 95 or is the 6.6? So this is October. Because we have an anomaly here against Bitcoin. This has been putting lower highs and lower lows since March 2024, whereas Bitcoin at this point in December, it put 110. So Render is kind of in a downtrend on the weekly, and it's to start by reclaiming this, but it's not an equivalent. It's not equivalent chart, so I cannot use the same analogy because this neckline is very low. It's lower than September, and on Bitcoin we are higher than September. But let's say this is the neckline. So we need Render to break beyond 4.5 and get into 6.6, and we definitely need to take the highs of $10 to start uh, being able to say that we have a bullish structure on the weekly. Usually momentum does that first, so I'm going to extend this line like this, and this line is not doing anything. Socials are looking good. No one is talking about Render. Very quiet. Good. Great. And we just pinch the first band of delta longs and shorts, came out from here, and we have room to go into 80s from 50s. Yeah, that's also good. What is that I don't like in here? Well, first, that we are still below this resistance at 51. So we need to prove that we can break that. Let's say 52. And let's bring 52 in here. Sorry, 52. There you go. So that is $5-6. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. 5.3 actually. 5.3 is resistance. So we can reclaim the 4.6, which is that neckline, get there, and as soon as we get to that point, watch out for resistance, because that resistance is as strong as these ones that there is there. So if we see rejection there, hopefully holding that for 5, or last line 3.5, hold that line to have a breakout. Okay. um, notice that I'm not assuming that we can break that, but we can also break that. That will be obviously automatically bullish. But I'm assuming that since these three levels were tough, that there is a high likelihood that at $5 we see some rejection. That's just because of that. Now, if we close a weekly basis slightly like this, then we can start looking for continuation and all of that. But caution at $5 with render. Let's go for another one. Let's do ADA. Yeah, we haven't done ADA in a long time. ADA USDT. Great call, because we can see that we are at the moment in the process of breaking out. So that is a candle in progress. Again, like Solana, we are right there pinching that. Upside conservative is to go into 53. So let's adjust that level, because we are very close to the yellow line. I'm gonna just do it like this, and I'm gonna say, yeah, 53 still. 53 is revenge rally. Closing beyond 53, it's bullish for a decent rally. And well, momentum has been increasing. So, well, I'm not sure we can do another rally like this, but with ADA, who knows? Because last time Trump said something bullish about crypto, ADA had a pinch, extremely intense there. You can see that in the price. We went to $1 from 0.5 in just a single candle, from 0.58 to $1. That's in a single candle. Crazy. So if we can complete this double bottom formation on ADA, that will really be awesome. At the moment, we are starting to build a double bottom, but unfortunately, the middle section is at 114 thanks to Trump. So we need to go to 114 to complete that pattern, that double bottom there. If we do it, the high is from the net line of 11 into 177. Okay, great that we defend the 53 cents. That's awesome that we didn't have to go to 34, and that we're getting this breakout. But again, at 53, watch out for that. That in the price was 76 cents. Hopefully we can go beyond the yellow line into the top at 87. Let's see that in the price. 87. That's very high, but I'm just gonna well, that's crazy. 87 momentum is ADA at $4. Let's compare that with the previous all-time high. Let's do it in logarithmic. I'm trying to find if there's any connection. I don't see any connection so far. But considering that this was a move of 50 cents in just a single week, there is potential for ADA to do something really crazy in the rest of this bull market, if we are still in a bull market. But I will go easy in here and just look to get into $1 first. Then we get the neckline at 115, and then the 176. If we are in altcoin season, if money is being printed, then the 1618 with $2.2, and then the $4 to complete that full pattern on the weekly at 80, 87, 88 on RSI. Socials, there's still a lot of people talking about ADA relative to other coins that are already pinching the lower end. It's still popular. And longs versus shorts, we are at 43. And last time we were very bullish, we got into 85. So there is still some room to go to the upside. Let's put this trend in here in case we get a pullback into this area of value right there. That's also interesting to keep there for a later video. Areas to buy on ADA. We got the 68 cents that we should turn into support. But if we put a deeper, higher low, I like 61, but let's trust a bit more what the liquidations are saying. We got that in this one. So it's very heavy, the 60 cents. So for a correction, 60 cents, if we are still bullish in the market, should be a great entry if you are not, if you are sitting on your hands on ADA. I do have ADA, so I'm just going to continue holding. But that level in here of 60 cents is a great opportunity to put a higher low. Same for Bitcoin. If we go to 92 to 88, that is the equivalent of ADA going into 60 cents, getting liquidated those late longs, and hopefully retaining the momentum to the upside. But it seems that the breakout, we're having it now. Let's see on the RSI, still on the 4-hour against resistance. Let me do this correctly. It's very difficult because if I connect it with that top, the resistance is there. But I'm going to go with that top in here. And by doing it correctly, we might be having as well a breakout on the 4-hour. Now that I do it better, we're just kind of ignoring that pinch there and connecting it with this. Then we could be seeing a breakout on the 4-hour. That is settled in 59 minutes. So I'm not going to be live at that point. We are pretty much done with the live stream, but that could be a breakout that goes into the next level of, we'll say, I'm not sure if we are going to get a higher high on the momentum. Typically, we get something slightly lower at this point because we already went to the top of the range of 85. We'll see how we close. If we close below this white line, we could see a move down with a bigger reset. In the past megaphone pattern, we got so many resets of 30s, and I'm really curious why here we are not getting any to the 30s. The 30s are around here, very far. So I'm scratching my head at this point. But if we get the breakout, we could get, let's say, to 82, to 80. Okay, that gives you a lower high, and that on the price, let's say 82 is 100K. Whoa, yeah, annoying. That that will hit my stop loss definitely. Why I had 89 before, if you notice from the video, and that is from hitting the top around here, because in the previous rally exiting the megaphone pattern, we did 1, 2, 3, 4 pinches until we got into 90, but each one of them reset to 30. So I'm very annoyed that in here we are not resetting yet, but we might still do. We'll see. It's early to say. One more altcoin, and I'm gonna go and have lunch because I'm very hungry. My wife cooked some Turkish food. Wow, Turkish food is the best. Is the best. Which coin are we gonna do? Chainlink. That's a great answer. Thanks, Samuel. Cool. Perfect timing. We got this bull flag on Chainlink, hitting the resistance right there at $14. RSI has already broken out from the same structure. So in theory, Link should follow up with a breakout on the price. If it does what the RSI has done already, it should go into $19. That to me is the neckline of the 95K of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin breaks that level, then we can talk beyond $19 on Chainlink as well. I like on Chainlink that we have a healthier structure relative to some other coins we were looking before, like Render. In here we have higher highs. This, yeah, higher low with a pinch slightly lower in here than this one. Bodies as well. So that is good. So I think Chainlink has a chance to go into the $20 as a short-term kind of target. Socials are very low level of the range, not as low as 21st of October, but still very quiet. And that means that you're early. That doesn't mean that for the 4 hour daily, this is the best cherry pick entry. It is not. You are trading against that resistance. You need to look for an entry on the 4 hour or daily. On the weekly, things are looking healthy. So that gives you the context, great context for looking for a long. Then you do the microscopic, a better entry on daily or 4 hour. So you could do it in a retracement, on a pullback. Let's look at liquidation levels. I like those a lot, as you can see. Link. And let's bring in some news on Link. So, cool. So $15 currently has a big liquidation. That is equivalent to the 97 on Bitcoin. And it's also visible in here, but on the last 30 days, it shows at 15 and a 15.55. On the lower end, we have low liquidation levels, smaller. And those can be seen at 13, 12, and 12 again. Let's see on swing. Do we have link here? Nope. Scalping. I don't have link. Oh, wow. I will have say that we have link on trading different crazy. We don't have it. Let's see the news. On link retests multi-year lows against Bitcoin, flips key resistance into support. I wonder which one they mean, because we still don't flip the neckline, which is the most important one. Recognized among top altcoins for institutional investment. That's great. Price shows upwards. Okay, so there are no news at the moment with Link. This is just, repeating themselves that things are moving up. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoy this. Remember that on a weekly basis, we do something very similar to this with the elite members of Patreon. You can join my elite membership on Patreon, and then by joining, once a week we do TA, but instead of being public and instead of competing with everybody else, we ask you prior to the event to cherry pick the coins, and then we can do it together. And I reply all your questions on the chat. You can also join with a microphone, sharing your screen, showing your charts, asking for an opinion, and on anything to do with TA, of course. That's coming up. The next section is on the 1st of May, if I remember right. And so I'll see you there if you want to join. There's just roughly 10 to 15 people. So in the live streams, it's very cozy. It feels like just talking between friends. So I hope you enjoy the live stream. Hit the like, write down comments, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.